Yes. How are you doing, sir?
That we got to be grateful because the world itself is having so much, especially with the latest that is happening in our lifetime again, where peace could have been resolved, the issues
With
on
the
the ground
latest that is
but
happening
rather
in our
we are
lifetime
saying
again,
that
where
war has now become a kind of a conversation that solve issues, and this is why a lot of Nigerians are now asking the question: are the international community going to do more to elevate the situation in Nigeria as well, or are they going to wait until the big bang happen in Nigeria? But for now, I'm doing very well, and it's good to be back with you again this Friday edition of the Morning Show.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki Kojo in our North London studios of Archie in the South studios, and we are bringing you updates from Nigeria. Now, first of all, let's go to what is happening in Ukraine and the fact that we're trying to see if our citizens in that part of the world are safe. As to it now, we know we've got some information from the Ghana, call it the Ghana ambassador. Let me put it that way. That will make people understand.
Well, good morning to you,
Ukraine,
back
who will be putting some of the information that we have about him in a moment. But the government in Nigeria is saying that they are planning to go and repatriate those Nigerians there. And some people are saying that, look, for us to come to Nigeria, we'd rather stay there and die. So, why are they saying that?
Well, it is until something happened to you, and especially as we have a lot of Nigerians are all over the world. The question is, what is the responsibility of a government, to its people, whether in times of crisis or in terms of help, or to secure them in the sovereignty country or wherever they are in the world. Let's first talk about a young girl called Itunu that called the help of the federal government of Nigeria for almost 6 months until she eventually died, in Cote d'Ivoire. There was no war in Cote d'Ivoire, but she was accused of something she has not committed, and she could have expected nothing more from a government to support her during the time of need. But rather, what we saw was a government that neglected her, and she eventually died, and her body was returned back to Nigeria. Again, that was a country that had no war. The question then is, we can see that we have a lot of Nigerians that are studying in Ukraine, because Ukraine tends to be one part of the globe that have so much when it comes to education sector. You would expect that if Nigeria or other African countries have the standard in the first place, there would not be any reason for Nigerians to be traveling to Ukraine or any part of the globe to attain a master degree or to further because of the best equipment or the best kind of institution that is away. The reason people opt for Ukraine is because of the standard of their medical education sector there, and likewise maybe a little bit cheaper for those that might not be able to gain admission for the master or first degree here in United Kingdom or America. But a lot of Nigerians are now stranded, and they are calling SOS to Buhari to demand a kind of an evacuation. But as that is also happening, some are also not believing that the government will do everything to bring them back to Nigeria, because it is not the first time that they've asked that. And that is coming from the acting president of the National Association of Nigerian Students in Ukraine, Eunice Elika, pleaded with the federal government to come to their aid. This is the National Association of the Nigerian Students sent out a Save Our Soul message to President Muhammadu Buhari seeking immediate evacuation. But not every one of them also trust the government, because they believe that it is not the first time that they've asked the government to come and rescue them. According to Edion Cypran Ukwa, a Nigerian who has lived in Ukraine care for many years, dismissed the calls as not only being unrealistic considering the closure of the airspace, but due to the past unfulfilled promises of the federal government of Nigeria. He said, I was here in 2013, which is about some few years ago, during the similar crisis when they promised to evacuate Nigerians, as usual, they never did.
Interesting. Let me say good morning to Amaya Ajirene. He says that, look, I'd rather seek asylum in Europe than going back to Nigeria. So he thinks that if people are in Ukraine, instead of them to go to Nigeria, seek repatriation to Nigeria, they'd rather, say, maybe go to Poland, go to any European country there. Well, interested. Let your comments, and if you are in that part of the world listening to us, I'm trying to, or you have relations there and stuff like that, continue to send us messages, and I promise you, we're going to be putting them across as those who matter are all listening into this conversation today. Now let's move on to some of the stories making the rounds in Nigeria. It's the gunmen kidnapped another plateau monarch. Now it seems that the monarch are being captured left, right, center. Maybe it is now time for them to sit up and say, now we need to do something right, because at least they have the money to pay for ransom if it's being demanded, if their lives are not taken. However, this monarch, who is he and what is what is all that about?
Well, Nigeria are facing a lot of insecurity in the country, and it's not just about the monarch. It's about almost everybody now is wondering, for how long do you have to live in a country and fearful of your life, whether being a monarch or just someone that believe that the federal government should have done more, to secure the lives of each of these Nigerians. Yes, like you did talk about, like you did mention, a monarch was kidnapped, and this is also coming up. Woman, I'm just trying to. Yes, there's tension as again envelope in Magun local government area of Plateau State following the kidnap of one of their traditional ruler, Dikat Gupia, by gunmen. Gupia is a paramount ruler of the Pushi district, the country home of also the state deputy governor. The question then is, how does this happen? Is because we have lack of intelligent gathering, lack of enough security operatives to secure most of the state, and also where we have already invasion of terrorists that have now spread across almost every part of Nigeria. Because as of today, Nigerians still stand at number 3 when it comes to the global terrorism index. So sometimes, when we see these situations happen, it's because those communities will not be able to defend themselves without the support of either the state or the federal. And the situation that should have been done to secure them is rather not available because, again, the system has collapsed.
Well, listeners, I'd rather they capture or kidnap the rulers, the big people, all those people. I'd rather, because that makes them know that reality is dawning on them, and they wake up to smell the coffee. So they think that, now, what do we do to stop that? So maybe going that way, I'm not happy that it's done. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not happy that that has happened, but I'm happy that it's happened there. So now they know that the normal or the common Nigerian person life matters. All right then. So Starr, ready. I might just say that war is in Nigeria already. So he doesn't want to be repatriated to Nigeria. I'd rather stay somewhere in Europe so that not from a frying pan to fire. Okay then. Okay. Now let's move on to some of the other stories, quite interesting ones. Over to you, Yomi.
Well, just as we're still discussing and focusing on the situation, when it comes to the lack of security support to millions of Nigerians from different parts of Nigeria this morning, declared suspected terrorist leaders wanted, according to the Senate telling the federal government. What is that all about this morning? The Senate on Wednesday urged the federal government to declare all known leaders of terrorist groups in Nigeria as wanted. It also called for the establishment of operational base within Danko and Wazuga and Sakaba local government areas of Kebbi State affected by the current rise in security challenges. But it doesn't seem Buhari government is pleased with that, because also with this headline coming out today from Nigeria, my regime is using full force to fight terrorists. Buhari said, we shall continue to cooperate with the affected state to confront the challenges head on, says Buhari. according to President Muhammadu Buhari, has reiterated his regime's commitment to addressing the deteriorating insecurity in Nigeria by using the full force to fight bandits in the north, especially the northwest and north central, that most of the local government is now in the hands of the terrorists as well. The president spoke at the gala night in Lafia organized in his honor by Nasarawa government as part of activities marking his two-day official visit to the state. The insurgency in the part of the northwest and the part of the north central is being tackled with full force. We shall continue to cooperate with the affected state to confront the challenges as well. Let's touch on some of the other headlines this morning as Naira loses about 10.6% of its value annually. This morning, if I'm going to be sending £10 home, that is a lot of money to somebody in Nigeria because of the value of the Naira that have literally gone kaput. That will give about 7,800 Naira, which is almost half of the salary. That's if the full salary was meant to be paid, but the full salary is not paid because the full salary is meant to be about 30,000 Naira, but some states are still paying just about 18,000. And that also shows that because of the influx of export coming into the country rather than a proper production in the country. What do I mean by that? We have millions of youth that are out of university, millions of Nigerians that are out of jobs that could have been helping the economy. But at Isenyi local government area, as an example, some of the youth came out this morning from a live transmission from our feed that says that rather than allowing them to go to the farm, the terrorists marauding themselves as herdsmen continue to tackle and kill them. And almost this week alone, we've seen videos coming out. We had to send some of our team to do a kind of investigation. And their concern is, what is the role of the government from the state and the federal sitting back and allowing terrorists to continue to kill them because they can't make it to the farm? If you can't make it to the farm, you can't produce the food. You can also sell the produce back as well. And the question is, I saw this, when we were in Nigeria last year, that as we speak today, farmers are now going to purchase food items that they should be growing and also be selling. That also is part of the reason why the Naira is also devaluing quickly, because almost everything is imported into the country. According to the International Monetary Fund, known as IMF, says the long-term rate of the depreciation of the Naira equated to a loss of about 10.6% of its value since 1973. According to the IMF, this rate is about 1.5 times higher than the long-term rate of the currencies of other emerging markets and developing economies at about 7.2%. The sub-Saharan African at about 7% over the same period. The Washington-based lender disclosed this in its Nigeria Selected Issue Paper report. According to the report, this is one of the reasons why Nigerian inflation rate is higher than that of its peers. That inflation is now having a kind of a distress to millions of Nigerians. As we speak today, people cannot access basic things of life, whether healthcare, welfare, education. Adding to that is the security that is also compounding a lot of issues. So if I was going to be setting up a business in Nigeria, some of the things I'll be looking up to see whether we have electricity, we have the security. Yes, the manpower is there. They can be trained for all the jobs, but also the government policy is not also helping. The report read in its part, Nigerians' long-term average of rate of CPI inflation from 1971 to 2020 was 16%, which is higher than both the SSA 13% and the EMD of 13.6%. I'm going to take from the business section and come back again before we go into some of the other headlines. It's coming up to 16 minutes past this morning from Starr Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. As we do know, part of the reason why some are asking the question that should we continue with Nigeria or should we continue to ask the question whether Nigeria itself can survive before the 2023. The groups urge citizens to reject career politicians in 2023. An advocacy group, Nigerian Patriotic Quest, has called on the citizens to work together to reject the whole class of career politicians in the next general elections. The group disclosed this yesterday in their statement, adding that the biggest challenge to Nigerian progress was a failed leadership. The statement read in part, the biggest drawback to Nigerian emergency as a strong progressive nation, just as we are discussing the distress in the naira and the value of the currency that is having impact to almost everybody in the country and those outside, lies in the future of the leadership. This leadership failure can be attributed to the strong hold on the reins of power by the old class of the career politician. And that is why Obasanjo is saying that the younger generation must take back the power from the older generation. And this brings to the article that was written this morning, Obasanjo endorsement of rebels in search for new Nigeria. But some of those rebels are currently being kidnapped, being arrested, being molested, and being abused. As of yesterday, the founder and the of SOWORE reporter OMOYELE SOWORE, a very close friend of Starr Radio UK, as we've had him in the studio, was arrested again yesterday. Because some of the Nigerian elite tend to use the police as something that they can use to chase most of the innocent Nigerians. But this morning, it was released yesterday, but the headline coming back again this morning says, police reinvited Sowore after the illegal arrest as Buhari's minister Malami Nwoko secured judge to remand activists in the prison custody. And my question is, does this government have enough on its table or still not enough, especially with so much that is happening? In the next 72 hours, today is Friday, by Sunday, maybe some of the major roads will be blocked from the Nigerian Association of Students that says, if you do not end the crisis between the lecturers, we're going to be blocking the road up the 36th state, either also the Maritime, the Ogoni. Our advice to a lot of Nigerians is be prepared for the worst case scenario. But Starr Radio UK will continue to monitor the situation across the 36 states to report back to the international community should they be taking unnecessary steps to attack or kill the Nigerians, just as it was done in 2020, 2021. When we saw 2020 rather, when we saw the invasion and killings of millions of Nigerians, not just on the spot of the Lekki toll gate, but millions of Nigerians that do not have the basic things of life already. Starr Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. I come back again to you now in the studio.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing us updates from Nigeria. Time now, 19 minutes past the top of the hour. Now, interestingly, let's touch on the latter story first. Now, why did Malami cause the arrest or cause the security agencies to arrest Sowore? What has Sowore done?
Well, there's a particular person known as Ned Nwoko. These are socialites that believe that their influence in Nigeria can be used to to detain or arrest individuals. From what we know, the Nigerian police has again invited the human rights activist Omoyele Sowore over a furious petition by a former member of the House of Representatives, Ned Nwoko. Ned Nwoko was one-time member of the House of Representatives, and as we do know, a team of the what we can say is he has written a petition on Omoyele Sowore on a particular article that SOWORE reporter must have written. But it is not about that. It's about these individuals and so many of them that have abused, whether in power or out of power, their influence within the government or within the security operatives. So they've literally turned some of our security operatives as their handbags.
Well, we hope that, everybody there is listening and watching with eagle's eye. And then, so that, people, we know people in authority who try to use, because of the authority, try to use the security agencies to intimidate people, though they know that they are not in the right stand. But because they have that, they will still do it. But it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Injustice to one is injustice to all. That's what Amaya is saying there. Starr Radio UK. Now, interestingly, you were talking about the fact that the call by Obasanjo. Now, do you think, and some others saying that we shouldn't now come 2023, the next election, if we have to go for that election? You're saying that they're saying that we shouldn't vote for career politicians. So, who do you vote for then?
Well, it's a quite interesting time, like I said, as we're going to be given a countdown to how many days left before the election, as we do here on Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. So we're just about 350 days, 12 hours, 37 minutes, 39 seconds before the 2023 general election. Who do you vote for is the question you ask. The first thing is, how are those that is going to be contested? We already saw some of the names that are out there. The national leader of the APC, Bola Tinubu, says, I am the king maker, and it's also important that the kingmaker becomes the president before any of the youth have to queue behind him as well. We've seen, people like Oda Mogalu is also contesting. We've seen people from the southeast. But the question is, who do Nigerians vote for? Well, Atiku hasn't declared yet. We're not sure whether the vice president will be competing, with his, somebody that we are told that trained, him to become who he is today, because he was working literally under Tinubu during the governorship when Tinubu was the governor. Do the Nigerians have options on the table? Yes, they might have options for those that still believe in one Nigeria, because not everybody at this particular point believe in that union and the progress and the peace of Nigeria. So for those that want to become, one Nigeria and still want to keep Nigeria, the option is, who do you vote for that would change the dynamic and probably make Nigeria a better place? If so, but the question is, that is very limited, because if you look at what Tinubu has done while he was a state governor for 8 years, and you go back and ask the question, he still controls almost everything in Lagos, from so many things that has been pinned to him. I mean, this was somebody that had a bullion van into his property before the 2019 election, and yet the EFCC, the Economic Financial Crimes, could not be asking. Imagine here in UK on the day of election, and the opposition had or whoever, the conservative have somebody that driving a bullion van and money. I mean, you can imagine what could have gone wrong in this country. But we are in Africa, in Nigeria, anything happened. And when he was asked the question, all he had to say was, that money belongs to me because it doesn't belong to the federal government. These are the now person that wants to become the president of Nigeria as we speak. Also, somebody like Dele Momodu, the owner of the Ovation, that is trying to contest. This is somebody that came on a live TV and told us that at some point during the contestant of the 1993 election, he had to travel to Vienna to visit somebody that might be of interest to contest in one of the political parties. And he was told, you can't, because the person laughed it all the way through. And the reason he gave was, Nigeria, people select them, you don't select yourself. But I'm now asking myself whether somebody is going to select him. The question then again is, somebody like Jonathan is now trying to be brought back onto the APC. It's a rumor at the moment, should APC bring back Jonathan? Does that mean that Jonathan and Tinubu will have to square it out on the primaries for those, again, that might be interested in Nigeria? But again, let's come back to those that are now saying this union is not working. Let us look into this country. Let us decide whether the future of being together in one Nigeria would eventually work for every single one of us. And that is a question on the lips of those that are wanting the self-determination, that are demanding for Yoruba nation, and those that are in the southeast that are demanding for Biafra as well. And again, that is the current situation as we continue to monitor the election coming in 250 days from today.
Yes, listeners, it's Star Radio UK. Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria. 11:26 the time. Now, there was one story that I saw, and it's quite an interesting one, that pertaining to the resignation of a prominent traditional leader, Wazim Katsina, who has resigned after he queried for saying Buhari's home state is in a state of war. Now, interestingly, you talk about the northern part, especially the Katsina area, where we have these people, these what I call them terrorists, who are rampaging the area, doing all sorts. That's the president's own backyard. That is going on. Now, somebody says that. Now, if you say that it's not true, we are all there. There is evidence. We know. We hear everything that is going on. So why should he resign for criticizing or saying what is true?
Well, remember that, we saw that when Buhari, I think last year or maybe the year before, went to his hometown, and just about some 2 hours away from his hometown, children were kidnapped. And the question is, how did that happen in the first place? That then brings me back to this headline that I've just picked up. Buhari not in touch with the current reality. This is coming from the Afenifere, that the president is not in touch at all with the current situation. The pan-Yoruba social political group Afenifere has decried President Muhammadu Buhari's glutting on infrastructure his administration provided for Nigeria, saying it was another indication that those in the corridors of power do not seem to be in touch with the present reality in the country. President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday this week said people, especially from the southwest, could have been trekking from Lagos to Ibadan, but for the intervention of his administration, especially on the rail and road project, which I discussed with Frank yesterday, that means people can now be able to travel on the railway network. But Afenifere, while appreciating Buhari on the restoration of the Lagos-Ibadan Railway in release signed by spokesman Comrade Jare Ajayi, quickly said it was an act of unpardonable extragration to say that without it, people in the southwest would have been trekking to Abuja. So coming back to these traditional ruler, that resigned, like I said, we've seen a lot of attack, from the Castina and also the other part of the country as well. But the question is, is the president really in touch with the current reality, or is he just there being told what is happening around him? This is a question that millions of Nigerians would have to ask, as the time frame is now, which way Nigeria?
Which way Nigeria? But assuming the next election, let's digress a bit, and assuming Buhari had a chance to run, do you think that people would have voted for him?
Well, Buhari has already said he can't wait to be an ex-president, so I don't think he wants to rerun anymore. I think he's already tired. I mean, I want to go back to his hometown in Castina and look after, some of his cows that probably are not growing in numbers, but he prefers them to remain the same in the numbers that they have. So he has already said he just can't wait to become an ex-president. So whether he's going to recontest again is leaving that to the next mantle of Nigerians to decide their fate.
Well, if you're listening to us, what do you think? Do you think that maybe if Buhari were to, we know that the constitution doesn't allow him to, and then we know that he's tired, he's an old man, he's tired. Now, assuming he decided to have contested again, would you have voted for him? Maybe you think that maybe second round he might do something better. But let me read a few comments that have come in. Amaya says that freedom now. Prince Adebanjo, good morning to you and good afternoon from where you are. He says IGBOHO must be free. Okay. And Amaya says Nigerian politicians are the beneficial of Nigerians' wealth. And the Yoruba had been producing graduates as far as back as the 1870s. One Yoruba nation, we stand. Okay? Interesting. Let your comments come through. I promise you, I'm going to read that out. Now, Yomi, let's move on to some of the other stories making the rounds, and then to the social media platform as well. Over to you.
We'll take two comments from this side as well. From Oko says, Nigerian government free NNAMDI KANU. He has no case in your court. Self-determination is not a crime. Nigeria injustice on the Biafran is a big crime against humanity. Killing of the innocent Biafrans. The freedom. And also James Reason says, contestants of the high position in countries in this world are usually first selected before being presented to the public for electoral process. I just want the Yoruba nation as a first step out of many. So we're going to take one or two more, then go straight to the social media this morning to see what is trending, especially with so many Nigerians still stuck. We've already seen videos of them also, stuck inside the underground of the train station in Kiev, where the situation is getting tense every day. Just like you said, the prominent leader, Waziri Castina, resigns after query for saying Buhari's home state is in a state of war. That is something that is coming out from the headline this morning. Let's see if we can touch quickly more other headline as we continue to monitor the situation. Yesterday, 4 banks were robbed. And I was able to see some of the security operatives that were taking cover. Maybe they didn't have enough in their ammunition that they were carrying, but they were probably just being on the safe side from not being killed at that attack. How could 4 banks be robbed in a broad daylight? No fewer than 7 people, including 2 police officers, 5 civilians were killed on Thursday yesterday evening, and huge sums of money stolen during a coordinated armed robbery attack on 4 commercial banks in Uromi, headquarters of Eastern Northeast local government area of Edo State. The Edo State Police Command spokesman Otangobola Bello confirmed the robbery attack but did not give details. This was a similar robbery incident 2 weeks ago in Idiakwe in Ibadan, where a bullion van was robbed, 13 innocent people were killed, and we're still demanding justice for each of those that were killed, just as we continue to demand justice for individual that was killed, that the head was taken away by the by the hoodlum known as auxiliary in Ibadan in Oyo State, just as we are seeing more attacks in the same local government of Oyo State as well. So I'm going to go straight now to social media as we are following the situation of Nigerians in Ukraine. I received a call from US yesterday of some of those Nigerians that are very concerned. But according to @Biafran tweet, World War III, Nigerian government consider Nigerians in Ukraine as Biafra and Oduduwa people. Instead of sending aid to them in #Ukraine, Nigerian government are invading their homeland #Biafra, terrorizing and killing innocent Biafrans. And with a lot of ammo tank in that video that is underneath that tweet as well. We do know that there's a lot of atrocity, killings, and genocide taking place unrecorded, in the southeast of Nigeria today. Also, some Nigerians in Ukraine unwilling to return reject Febauary government plan evacuation. Like I said, there's another video right in front of me with a lot of packed underground, in the citizens in Ukraine, as we do know with the current crisis going on there. So Nigerians give update from Kiev, as they're part of those taking cover underneath, the train station. So let's say more before we continue as well and come back again. It's coming up to 11:34 this morning. Is the Friday edition. As we do know that the situation in Russia, Ukraine is generating so much conversation. Like I said, SOWORE was released yesterday, but it doesn't seem everything is done as it's now been invited back. We'll be giving more update on that as we do have it as well. So this person says at Kalafrok, I stand with Ukraine, not Russia. I stand with United States, not China. I stand with India, not Pakistan. I stand with #Biafra, not Nigeria. The killings and invasion of the Biafran people, homes and villages by Nigerian government forces is getting out of control. And we continue to ask the international community to please look into some of this atrocity that is taking place. Aloy Ejimako is one of the legal representatives of MAZI and the KANU. Is giving an update some 21 hours ago. 3 times in a row, the government of Nigeria by the DSS blocks court order access to Oyendo NNAMDI KANU on the same excuses. We were here in strength. My humble self, Ozekome, Ejiomafo, and Prince Emma, this crass tyrant, will live in infamy and harden a lot of heart. The question is, like I said, this government will be remembered for a very long time, especially the abuse of the justice system that have been turned into like buying, beans cake on the side of the road, because they do not listen and they do not comply with this, with the justice system when giving order either at the High Court or at the State Court. As we do know that 20 billion was meant to have been allocated to Chief Sunday Igboho for the damage and invasion of his home, but the federal government doesn't seem to be interested in that. Let's talk about 2 more from the social media. At First Ladyship, X-Mobile and Shell are exiting their land investment in Nigeria. They are selling off their oil and gas assets in Nigeria beyond economic reasons. There are security concerns, which we have been discussed. There's something that the IOCs know about Nigeria, something they have seen that you and I do not know. Does it mean now that some of these big companies are just selling off their assets, or maybe what we have been discussing, just as the late Dr. Malafia Obadia says, in Nigeria this year, there will be a civil war. He said so before he was killed. He's gone now, but that video is still trending most of the time. So this is what Naferati is saying. And he also says that They are selling off their land assets in Nigeria, setting up shops in the safer African countries. ExMobil, Shell were Nigerian partner and critical national asset investors for decades. Their gradual exit from Nigeria means the US and the UK have no businesses in your fight. And the last one says it is 11 years plus. Yet, the Boko Haram still flex their muzzle. Hardened banditry, terrorism become diversified. The army is overstretched, so the end insurgency, it will take more than what Nigeria can give at the moment in case of any external aggression. Nigerians, you are literally on your own. If I were you, I will put my affairs in order, have a plan B, an exit plan in case of any eventuality. China is the only country heavily invested in Nigeria right now, so Nigeria must get its politics right this time. All is not well with your polity, economic, and security. And that is why a lot of Nigerians are saying that the situation in Nigeria at present is becoming scary on a daily basis. And until we all come onto the round table to decide the future of the country, we might end up having no country in another couple of years, especially with the insecurity that is becoming very, very high on a daily basis, and the government doesn't seem to have a final solution to those problems. This is Starr Radio UK. It is your finest African Caribbean radio station in London. And for more details about what we do, you can also check us out on our timeline on all the social media handle. For the best way to know what we do, www.starradiouk.com, where you can find all the latest of happenings in Africa and also in Europe, in Asia. But at every 11 o'clock, you will find me here giving all the details and the headlines about Nigeria. And if you're thinking of sending money home to your loved ones at a very critical time, especially with the upcoming, by Monday, I'll be able to give report on the ground in Nigeria from some of our team that are representing us to give us whether by Monday there will be a major roadblocks according to the Nigerian Association of Nigerian Students. So we're advising everyone, why not use SendWaves to send money to your loved ones so that they can purchase foodstuff and stock it up just in case by Monday things become the other way around. I'll come back now to you in the studio before we start winding it down this morning.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, I've been giving updates from Nigeria, quite a comprehensive one that he's given so far. But let me read a couple of comments, and then we have a look at NNAMDI, KANU, and Sunday IGBOHO cases, and then we can run up. Salami Muritala says, God will free Sunday IGBOHO, inshallah. And then Amayo says, Yoruba Nation was the first in Africa to have a TV station in 1959. Interesting education there. The tallest building in West Africa in 1965. My goodness. Well, but what do we see now? Is it that the federal system is spreading development across the country, or what exactly is happening? Or are they now siphoning the wealth from one particular area to the other areas and making sure they kill the other areas? Looking at what Olayomi said about the Shell and other oil companies that are selling their wares and trying to leave that place. Now, if the government sits and have maybe a jaw with the IPOB leader and all those people who have got invested interest there, they will be able to come to a compromise, knowing that, look, what is going on, we have a stake in it, we are getting, it's bettering our lives. But when they don't see that, then of course, the investors will think that the best way out is to leave. How far will Nigeria go to get things done? Okay, so now let's come to Sunday IGBOHO. Have you had any update from his incarceration in Benin or anything of the sort?
Well, I believe yesterday one of his legal team was being interviewed after almost 200 days of being held in Benin Republic. And what are the reasons? What can be done more? To get him out of there. We do know that our brother, our own friend, Mayegun General, based in Glasgow, with his fans, have now been able to raise a total amount of almost close to £25,000 to say that we will do whatever needs to be done legally, pressure, asking the Benin country to release him, to allow him to continue his journey, and there's no reason for being held and pinned down in Benin after 7 months. So what we can only say is that, it's still an ongoing situation, where, even as at this morning, I was having a conversation with somebody in America. I had to actually wake them up because they have a bit of background, when it comes to, political prisoner that is, being pinned down in any part of the world. This person that I spoke to already faced similar, situation, which we can't go into too much detail. He used to be part of the military in Nigeria until he had to run away for his life. He was traveling to different African countries. He was also pinned down until he was able to get himself set free and then arrived in America, where he has lived peacefully for so many years now. So the question now is, is Benin Republic using Chief Sunday Igboho, as a bargaining chip? Even though we know Buhari locked, the borderline between the Southwest and Benin Republic, for almost 3 years now, while we have the borderline in the Northwest, where he's also, his hometown in Castina. So yes, the situation with Chief Sunday Igboho is still an ongoing. Yesterday, we saw the leader of the Yoruba movement, Professor Banji Akintoye, on a prayer section that was streamed yesterday. And yes, as they're praying, they're also putting pressure. He has been in Benin Republic himself for almost 7 months as we speak. And I can also confirm that we from this side were in daily contact, in terms of the psychology, the health care of Chief Sunday Igboho. He needs to be taken out so that he can have a better treatment, because he's been there for 7 months now, but the situation is not yet being resolved.
Well, listeners, a bit of update there from Sunday Igboho's incarceration. Anthony Adedeji, thumbs up to you too. Good afternoon or good morning. Adi Adetundi, good morning to you, and thank you very much for joining us as well. Now, let's come to NNAMDI KANU. Now, we know that the government, the president, when he was, when what do you call the Biafran leaders or leaders from the southeast, went to visit him. He was of the view that they went to negotiate something so that he could be released. Now, later on, we had some information coming through that were, I think, advising him not to release him, but let the case go through. And then maybe when he's incarcerated, maybe sentenced, then he as a president can then pardon him, which would say that, well, you've made a mistake or you've broken the law, so the law has to deal with you. But with the way the case is being adjourned every day, how long is it going to take for the case to be heard, and then judgment passed, and then we can have the president saying that, okay, now I've pardoned the person? Well, how long is it going to be? Is it going to be another, until 2023 when the president is about to leave office, or what? What are they doing? What is the plan?
Well, maybe until he becomes the ex-president and leave the battles to the next president to deal with. Just as a lot of people from the southeast will always say that it looks like the presidency is running away from his own court. Just as we saw, the legal team update there that they tried to visit him, but that doesn't seem to be working. We do know that the next court case is going to be in April, which is just about some 6 or 8 weeks from now. But the question you've asked is, would there ever be a court case in the, that will have, I mean, yeah, they've had 15 count charges on him. The legal team has, say this is like a buying akara and bread on the side road, because the one that I would have expected to be added is, because NNAMDI KANU keeps saying, that is not the real Buhari, but that has not been added to the, to the count charges. And if that is added, that means we will have to take the DNA of the current president to confirm whether that is the real president or not, because it's a very, I mean, as much as the, Buhari himself, I believe, was traveling to somewhere in Ukraine when he was interviewed with some of the Nigerians saying, I'm still the real president, so forget about whatever you're hearing out there. But those count charges was not there, but some of the other count charges have been, put to the side by the legal team. But what I think is going to happen is, as much as the government is trying to run away from his court, they will continue to postpone this court case. So it's never going to happen. As much as the legal team of NNAMDI KANU want it to happen, it shouldn't take more than 2 weeks, and then whatever the judgment, then maybe the presidency can have a pardon on it. I think the first thing they're trying to do now is to at least get him out on a bail, or get him out from the DSS custody into a proper, different, prison where they can have access to him. But it looks like the DSS knows the high profile of NNAMDI KANU. Each time they're bringing him to court, it looks like one of the African presidents have just arrived in terms of the kind of security around him. They were looking for him for a very long time. He's now in their custody. Why are they running away from their court is the question on the lips of many Nigerians.
Omoyele says that when injustice becomes a norm, resistance becomes inevitable. Self-determination is the way. Ade says he is laughing to tears, you know. And Omoyele continues, say, clone Buhari. Ha ha ha. Well, they think that Buhari has been cloned. Well, maybe his clone looks more fitter than him. So maybe Buhari is still, the real Buhari might still be in London here. Who knows? Well, it is Starr Radio UK. Tell me before you go.
Well, this weekend, like I said, I will be monitoring all the details, especially, whether there will be a road blockage or whether the government will eventually have a peace path, with the lecturers of the strike ASU. But be rest assured that on Monday, I'll be here to give all the details. But for those of you, make sure you stay tuned to Starr Radio UK. And if needs be, it might come out if there's an emergency to discuss to those of you. But for now, I'll be leaving you with Archie, Frank, and the rest of the team on the Friday edition. I'll be coming back again, on Monday morning, 25th of February, 2022, 11:48 a.m. Have a very good morning and bye from this end of the globe.
Yes. Before you go, a quick one. Have there been any development with the ASU and government? Anything that you've heard? Maybe government is making some moves for them to meet. Has there been anything of the sort? A quick one.
Well, I don't think so because, like I said, this government is not interested in the education sector, and I'm not saying this is going to be over. So that means there might be a rollout of students over the weekend.
Okay, let's see. Thank you very much, Yomi. Have a lovely weekend, and let's keep on praying for the people of Ukraine.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite.
Ọmọ Yorùbá lápapọ̀ tilé tó kó ẹ̀mí àbọ̀ ẹ̀bá nǹkan mọ Adéyẹmọ. Chief Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho orúkọ ńlá tí ń jámọ̀ láyà bí àrá orúkọ tó ń dẹ́rù bo lórúkọ gan-an. Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ má sùn o torí pé bùrà a kò lè fojú kégbodò láyé títa ríro lẹ̀dá ń kọlà wúrà tó máa dán alànà kọjá dandan o. Ọ̀wọ́n irin ní má bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ̀nà ẹ̀dá kan ò lè ṣì wá lọ́nà mọ́ ẹjẹ́ àfìmọ̀ṣọ̀ kan ká lè débi re. Ẹ̀já jọ gbárùkù ti Sunday Ìgbòho ṣá ọmọ Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ nílùú Alágbàdo Òde ọmọ atapẹ̀tẹ̀ wọnú omi ọmọ gègèlè wodò sànyà ìsànyà ò rẹ́ràn bàbá yín láàrin ìdí omi kò sì náà ń kán sí yín lẹ́nu ọmọ òkúta mẹ́ta òkè Ìgbòho ìkan ṣe yín ní dábọ̀dàbọ̀ ìkan ní mọ́ rọra ìkan tó kù nígbà tí wọ́n ò mọ̀ Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ kí ló dé Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ sí ọmọ òpópó sanran ìgbàgede Ìgbòho sùn wọn láláìsí bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ́n ní kó ní bẹ̀rẹ̀ ó máa kó bẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ ẹ̀sìn òní bímọ méjì ní Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ bẹ́sìn bá bímọ méjì ní Ìgbòho àfikàn pọ̀pọ̀ sí amúkan yòókù bọ̀ sànyà àtúmúyà rẹ̀ tí ò lọ́rọ̀ gbọ́ àfiṣẹ́rù wálé wàràmùjẹ́ ọmọ onílé ọ̀la àwọn àjòjì tó ń ṣe ségesège tọ́láwọn ò ní bomi kó sí mu wọ́n láwọn ò ní bomi sànyà wẹ́sẹ̀ ìgbà tójú kò fi rí ńkọ́ gbogbo wọn náà sáré bomi kó sí mu wọ́n sì bomi sànyà wẹ́sẹ̀ ọmọ abẹ́rẹ́ mẹ́ta òde ayé ọ̀kan ṣẹ́ ọ̀kan tẹ̀ ọ̀kan tó kù ní gbogbo ayé fi ránṣọ kiri gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá Sunday Ìgbòho onírẹ̀lẹ̀ láéláé torí àbá lásán nìkan ń dá òkúta ò ṣe gbé fún wọn o ìmọ̀ràn lásán ni ti balùwẹ̀ kò pọ́sibú kó dòdò láyé ń bí ó kún díẹ̀ títọ́ domi láéláé ìtọ́ mi lè domi. Sunday Ìgbòho arógun má ti dí tó ń jà fẹ́tọ̀ Yorùbá ní tilé tó